It's the news the world's financial markets have been waiting for. After weeks of negotiations, congressional leaders have finally reached agreement with the White House on a solution to America's debt crisis. The deal, announced late this morning Australian time, involves $1 trillion worth of cuts in spending over 10 years and a raising of the debt ceiling beyond the next presidential election. Within minutes, financial markets in Australia and across Asia surged upwards in a major vote of confidence. With more, I'm joined by the ABC's Washington correspondent Craig McMurtry. Craig, how firm is this? Is it a done deal?
Well, it's not a done deal yet. Barack Obama came out and spoke to reporters a few moments ago. Essentially, it comes down to a vote now in Congress tomorrow. It's thought that it's likely to get through the Senate, where Democrats are in the majority, but the lower house, the House of Representatives, a far different proposition. You'll recall just last week, the Speaker, John Boehner, was facing a party room revolt. It's going to be difficult for him to deliver all the numbers. He will rely on Democrats bringing some numbers to him. They are saying perhaps 90 or 100 votes. The magic number is 216. So it's still a bit of a nail-biter in the House of Representatives. Mindful of that, Barack Obama, when he spoke to reporters, pointed out that it isn't the deal he necessarily wanted either, and he urged people to come on board. Here's some of what he had to say.
Now, is this the deal I would have preferred? No. I believe that we could have made the tough choices required on entitlement reform and tax reform right now, rather than through a special congressional committee process. But this compromise does make a serious down payment on the deficit reduction we need and gives each party a strong incentive to get a balanced plan done before the end of the year.
The Republicans have indicated as well they're not entirely happy with this deal. Does this appear to be the best possible outcome considering all the circumstances?
Well, I think they were all mindful, the party leaders that is, were all mindful that they were really up against it now. Barely 2 days before the Treasury deadline on lifting the debt limit, they have one more day to get it through Congress, and then that is effectively it. So they're right up against the deadline. They were very concerned about that. The package lifts, or at least cuts spending by $1 trillion, and then it sets up a super committee to find more cuts to lift that debt limit beyond the 2012 election, which is certainly something that Democrats wanted. Republicans will be concerned that it doesn't deal with entitlements. These are the programs that the Democrats really protect, like Medicare. They wanted deeper cuts there. On the other hand, Democrats wanted to see revenue increases, and Republicans haven't given ground on the idea of closing off tax breaks for the wealthy, though Barack Obama is saying he still wants that to be part of the next round of negotiations. And the other thing that needs to be said is, even though we are uncertain about which way Congress goes tomorrow, it would certainly be an extraordinary thing if the party rank and file defy the party leaders, given that the senior Democrats and Republican in both houses are on board for this deal. But it's not entirely impossible because of that revolt, because of the concern that numbers will bleed from the left and right. So tomorrow is going to be another dramatic day.
Well, what sort of damage is this doing to the reputation of America around the world?
Well, even the politicians on Capitol Hill are saying it's been a fiasco. There's been name-calling, blame shifting, though the rhetoric noticeably softened today as they came close to this deal. You look at opinion polls in this country and they show that the regard for Congress has plummeted. The president's own approval rating has suffered somewhat as well. And even within party ranks on both the Democrat and Republican side, there's been concern that they haven't been able to bridge the gap and make a compromise. You look at the Wall Street Journal editorial over the weekend, warning that Republicans are not looking like adults to whom voters can entrust the government. This was a criticism levelled at the hard-line Conservatives, the Tea Party-aligned Conservatives, who have been holding out. They wanted a balanced budget amendment. They're not going to get that, at least not a promised balanced budget amendment in this deal, and it's not expected that many, if any of those, will support this deal when it goes into the House of Representatives tomorrow.
Craig McMurtry, thank you.
Okay.